Hello, everyone. I'm Goose. This is a special Here to Chew Bubblegum. With sadness, friend of the show, Brad Holland, passed away on Monday, November 29th, 2021. Brad loved movies, video games, and music. Here's a song from Brad Holland.
Well, I never knew something like this could happen to you. You lost grip on the world and you let it go, and it cost you your soul. Well, I guess you're in a better place now, where the angels are flying and you won't see me around. It's like a death in the family, the tragic day when you were taken away from me. What was going through your head, man? What were you thinking? And now to get you off my mind, I think I'll just keep drinking. Well, I can hear your voice echoing in my head. Can't believe that you did and you left me here all alone in this world. Well, I guess you're in a better place now, where the angels are flying and you won't see me around. It's like a death in the family, the tragic day when you were taken away from me. What was going through your head, man? What were you thinking? And now to get you off my mind, I think I'll just keep drinking. Keep drinking, keep drinking, keep drinking. Keep drinking, keep drinking and drinking. Well, I guess you're in a better place now, where the angels are flying and you won't see me around. It's like a death in the family, the tragic day when you were taken away from me. What was going through your head, man? What were you thinking? And now to get you off my mind, I think I'll just keep drinking. Well, I guess you're in a better place now, where the angels are flying, man, I'll see you around.
This episode is dedicated to the memory of Brad Holland. Brad is going to open the show up for us.
I've come here to chew bubblegum.
I have come here to chew bubblegum.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings. Hello, everyone. I'm Goose. I was waiting on somebody to say something, but
I didn't know if you wanted me to or not. I feel like I'm out of place here. Let's see. I've come here to chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. There you go.
And you've come here to live long and prosper, correct?
Live long and prosper, and let's see what else. I'm Justin Perkins from Talk Junkie and 17 other. I don't know, whatever. I'm here.
Okay. And as our regular listeners may be aware, that is Elliott Spooky of the Spooky Family Podcast. And Elliott, thank you very much for filling in for Dirty Dan this week.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for being on. I love podcasting with you. This will be the first time we've ever done this where you've not been in the studio with me.
I know. And I miss you, Goose.
Yes, and I miss you too, buddy. I miss you too. Dirty Dan and Rebecca are still battling ladybugs and fighting salamanders. Hopefully they will be back next week, and we'll have a more planned out show. Dirty Dan was going to have some special guests, DJ Nikki and Paul Hempill, and he wasn't able to do that. We are getting this show up late, but we're giving you new podcast in ear candy entertainment with.
Oh yeah, ear candy is the best kind of candy. Unless it's waxy, then it's bad.
There you go. And I was about to say with Mr. Ear Candy himself, Elliott Spooky.
Wow. Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Well, I'm going to start off this week the same way I started off last week when Justin was here. Give me your feedback and thoughts on the new Ghostbusters Afterlife movie.
Now, see, here's the thing. Anybody who knows me and listens to the Spooky Family Podcast knows I am a Ghostbusters aficionado. It is my favorite movie. It's always been my favorite movie. I walked into this movie with high hopes. I really, really wanted to like this movie. And after I watched it, I loved this movie. To me, this movie is everything a sequel needs to be. It sets up the future, and it pays homage to the past. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's not watched it, but I think it ties everything together. It makes... I don't want to say it makes complete sense because, of course, it's a movie about ghosts and proton packs. So, but to me, I am a huge fan. I'm so glad it's out there. I can't wait. I think they've started a new universe.
Oh, and yeah.
I really think there's going to be, I really think there's going to be more Ghostbusters movies, and I cannot wait.
Yes, and I totally agree with you. Now, do you agree with Justin's quote that when he said, I loved it probably more than I should have? Having said that, Bill Murray disappointed me for the first time in my life. He said that, he felt like Bill Murray didn't want to do it. I didn't get that vibe. Bill Murray is older now. When people get older, their outlooks change. Right. Did you get the same vibe Justin did? Because I didn't get that.
And listen, I totally understand where Justin's coming from. Justin is a big Bill Murray fan. I too am a big Bill Murray fan. My favorite Christmas movie is Scrooged. We can go on and on about Bill Murray, but I didn't really get that vibe. I just felt like I don't think he didn't want to be there. I just think it was more along the lines of, I've got a limited amount of time. I'm going to try to do this, but I'm not putting. I don't think he gave 100%, but I don't think he was forced to be there. You understand what I'm saying?
Right,
I don't think it was one of those things. I think it was a very bittersweet ending. And like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but the way they wrapped that all together really mimicked some real life issues that he had with some of the previous Ghostbusters. Right. And I think that maybe that had a lot to do with the way he was perceived, in the movie. I don't know. But I enjoyed it. And I understand where Justin's coming from. Me and him have talked about it. But no, I didn't really get that. I think when you have Bill Murray in a movie, especially a movie that says Ghostbusters, you want him to be the center of attention. and you want him to be the star. And I think this was just one of those, I passed the torch to this new generation of people. And, I think he did what he had to do. I loved it.
Well, I mean,
I love the fact that there's a character named Podcast, by the way.
oh, yes. Yes. Me too.
That, I think, made this movie that much more personable for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, look, there is a character on there that likes the same stuff I do in a movie that is based off my favorite movie. And, he just happened to be a kid, but we're all kids at heart, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. And, and I told Justin this, and I still think this. I think that's one of the best movies that has came out in theaters in the last 5 years, if not longer.
Absolutely. And you know what? I mean, it's just one of those, you had to have somebody who knew what they were doing. Ghostbusters, the female, all-female Ghostbusters movie.
Right.
I'm not gonna knock it on here. It's got its faults, and we all know it has its faults. But that Ghostbusters movie was made as strictly as a comedy, and that's not what Ghostbusters is.
No.
Ghostbusters is a fantasy movie that has comedic elements, and this movie nailed that right off the bat. I think it was excellent. The cameos by certain actors that are not mentioned in the in the press and all that stuff, I thought it was great. I thought everything worked. I even liked the little blue ghost. I miss Slimer, but I like the blue ghost. I think it was a great movie.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. Is there any movies that are not out yet that are going to come out before the end of the year that you're looking forward to, other than the new Spider-Man movie?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say the Spider-Man movie for sure is one I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the new Scream movie. It comes out in January.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to, on Netflix, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre series.
Yeah, I've just recently heard about that, and I'm also looking forward to those as well. Elliott, I could talk movies with you all day long.
Oh, yeah.
The recent SpaceX stuff, or his satellite deal, or whatever.
Yeah, Starlink.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you buy that that's what people saw this past Friday night in our state, that was the Starlink stuff?
It could be. I'm not going to say it's not. When I saw it, I didn't think Starlink. I was like, "What is that?" What? I don't know what that is. It didn't move like I saw Starlink move.
In the past, right?
Television, in the past. I'm not saying that's not what it is, but if it is, wow, that was awesome. But I really don't know if that's what it was or not. What do you think? Did you get to see it?
I didn't get to see it. I was traveling to Ohio, and Dirty Dan sent me video from his backyard, and that was before I knew it was Starlink. And some of the video, and this may not even be the same thing that he sent me the video of. And some of the news stories, I've just glanced over them. To me, if you're going to make satellites, okay, to give internet and send in space, that just looked, from the pictures, and this is just me, like I said, I've not done much research, that just looked configured all wrong.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I get that it's in a line and it moves in a certain. I get it, but that's not what it looked like to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was like there was kind of when I saw it, there was kind of an outline. And the really cool thing, I don't know, I cannot find it. I'm sure if I looked hard enough, I could. Earlier that day, there was a kid in southern or south central Kentucky that was outside of a Dairy Queen and took a picture of clouds. Have you seen that?
No, I have not saw that yet.
There is a ship outline in those clouds, like it's almost like an oval. I don't want to say it's a cigar shape, but it's an oval.
Right.
I'll try to find that and send that to you. And that was earlier that day. So, I don't know. Listen, all I know is the skies are very active right now. Every time I go out and look up, I'm seeing stuff that, it's blowing my mind.
Right, that you've not saw before. And I totally agree with you. Something I did tell Justin last week, I think I mentioned it last week, or maybe on the radio show. It seems like reports have kind of died down a little bit. Even though they're still happening and going on, they're not reporting on it like they were. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's one of those things. We all thought disclosure was coming.
Yes.
We all thought it was going to be here. We were all excited for it. We thought it was going to be here, and I think they did it up to a point. And now that they saw that there really wasn't a lot of backlash to it, there wasn't a lot of people who was worried about it or who cared about it really. And now I think they just don't. It's no big deal. They're just going to start doing stuff, I think, out in the open and not mention it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think I just don't think you are going to see a lot of reports anymore, because people are just going to say, hey, that must be what they were talking about. That must be the Tic Tac shaped UFOs or whatnot, And every time something new happens, there seems to be a new variant, or there seems to be a new volcano, or there seems to, nothing stays in the news cycle for more than 5 days anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't really know. I don't know.
Well, I just keep sky watching. I keep hoping that disclosure does come out. The military does have a new UFO office now that are investigating UFOs or UAPs.
Are they investigating it, or are they coming up with reasons why it's not what we think it is? Is it Blue Book 2.0 or 3.0 by this point?
From what I have read, they are doing official investigations where these pop up in places that creates a security risk to military bases or so forth. So will we ever hear about these, about some of the outcomes and so forth? I have no idea. I hope we do, but I have no idea if we will or not. It's there's a lot of stuff going on that it's all over the board, and we've kind of not necessarily lost track, but the past couple of weeks have just been really, really busy, and we've not been able to sit down and talk about this stuff. But we're going to be doing that really, really, really soon. And something that I did recently become aware of, and I mentioned this last week, and last week I was on episode 21. I can safely say I have finished the Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History. Have you heard of Chris Chan before?
I have not.
Okay.
Fill me in on this.
You definitely need to check out Chris Chan. Chris Chan is supposedly autistic. Now, here is the deal, and this may make some people mad. I know people that are autistic. I've met people that are autistic. Yep. They never have told me that they're autistic. They've never said, I'm sorry, I don't think straight, I'm autistic. I'm sorry, I can't do that, I'm autistic. They've never used the word that they're autistic. Why? Because they just don't do it, because they're legitimately autistic. And so Chris Chan does a lot of stuff. He was into Pokemon, and he created his own Pokemon character. And he was trolled over the internet. And at some points in the documentary, you do feel sorry for him. His house burns down. So people that created this message board to kind of troll and monitor him, they put care packages together. They took money up. They sent him a gift card. So guess what? The first thing when he received the stuff was that he posted on Facebook. He didn't post thank you. He posted, and I'm paraphrasing here, hey, dum-dum, this gift card doesn't work.
Oh, man.
So, and Chris Chan is currently in jail in Virginia. I won't say for what, for anybody that wants to check out the free 59-part documentary segment that's on YouTube.
59 parts.
59 parts, and most episodes are 42 minutes to an hour in length.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, Chris Chan is supposedly the most documented person on the internet. And like I told Justin, there are no good guys in this story. They're all villains. Even Chris himself is a villain. And, you know, at some parts you do feel sorry for him, and then other parts you don't. I mean, he's surrounded by tens of thousands of dollars of toys, and he's begging people for money. Sell some of those toys, you know. And,
really.
you know, don't use, you know, your lack of intelligence or whatever it may be as a crutch. You can do better.
Well, you know, like, here's the thing. Like, most people I know who are autistic, and I know quite a few people who are on the spectrum, are very intelligent people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're very, very intelligent people. And I'm looking while we talk, and my goodness, this is like just the first 3 links that I've read about.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting story. And
Very, very.
wow, like,
I mean,
I don't know, man. This is
and I'm gonna be honest.
How have I not heard about this
And,
guy?
well, and that's the same thing that I was wondering. And my son's the one that turned me on to him. And I'm going to be honest with you. Once I started watching this, he showed me one clip, one like 2-minute clip. And after he showed me that clip, I was hooked. And I had to go watch it for myself. And it's like watching a train wreck. You can't look away. I mean, honestly, you cannot look away from this.
It's like Tiger King season 2. I don't know have you watched it yet?
Yes, I have.
Like, it just incredibly, it keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier, and they just keep introducing new people and new things. And I don't know, we went from QAnon to Trump to everything in Tiger King season 2, and I was like, my goodness, this, from what I can just looking at like 3 or 4 little clips here, oh my gosh, this is along those same lines. It gets crazy.
Definitely. Now, there is one clip that I will have to email you, and I will do that as soon as we get done, because, you know, Chris, his parents were older than him. His dad, when he passed away, was in his 80s, so he was in his 50s when Chris was born. And Chris's parents are hoarders. So Chris videoed, somebody asked what his house looked like, and he videos it and posted it on the internet. So a few months goes by, and his videos blow up, and his dad realizes and finds out some way, and he just lets him have it, you know. I mean, and it is like, it's very similar to Winnebago Man. I mean, there is so many quotes in this that you could pick up and just go with. And I mean, you definitely, if you have some spare time, you definitely need to check that out.
I will do that. Oh my gosh. I'm looking it up on Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And, I mean, you know, and like I said, I had never heard of this until, you know, about a month ago. And, you know, and I was just listening to my son talk about it, and I was thinking, well, this sounds stupid. And he showed me this one clip. And I laughed so hard. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go watch this. I have to go watch this. And it just blew my mind. You know, Chris is in a certain situation right now. And if he does get out, even though, you know, we talk about, you know, UFOs, time travel, other dimensions, all this, I would love to have him on the show. And I'm definitely going to try to get him on the show.
Wow. They have 2 albums called Christian and the Hedgehog Boys.
Oh, yes, there is.
What is this?
That is a song that when he graduated high school in the early 2000s, and he sung over the Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way, but he changed his own lyrics. He put the lyrics in his own, like what some of it says, I never want to hear I have a boyfriend. Let's see. I have a boyfriend. I'm just a virgin with rage. You know, I mean,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
just, it is unbelievable. Honestly, it really is.
Well-
If any of our listeners have not checked out Chris Chan, you definitely need to check that out. Chris Chan, A Comprehensive History, that's the 59 parts. And there's another one that I've not watched yet that was done several years ago, just called Chris Chan Documentary. I think that one's about 2 hours. But
You know, sometimes I worry about stuff that we put out on Spooky Family Podcast.
yeah,
Not if it's bad or whatever. I just wonder if it's entertaining. And now that I look at Chris Chan and realize that this guy has been doing this since 1999,
yes.
man, we got to step our game up, Goose. We got
Well,
to get our content up there, son.
hey. You know, he is. I mean, if
I don't have an album. You know what I mean?
well, you need to listen to some of his songs before you say that, because
Oh my gosh.
people would debate if it's an album or not. So,
Oh man, now I see what he got in trouble for.
yes,
Holy crap.
yeah. So
Never mind. My game is good right where it's at. I don't need to step it up. Wow.
now, and he actually has court coming up, I think, in February on that. But what's interesting about that is he wasn't charged with something else that would that would typically go along with something forced that way. He wasn't charged with that. So that's just weird. I mean, it's just weird. And his brother is the movie critic Cole Smithy. That is his brother. His brother is the one that kept Toy Story 3 from getting a perfect 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, because he knocked it, and it knocked it down to a 99. So, but just
I mean, you got to be known for something, I guess. I don't know.
well, yeah, Chris Chan's definitely known for something. So, you know,
It looks very much. Oh my gosh.
but yeah. Now, see,
Oh, and I'm sorry. I've been saying he. I guess she is the proper. I'm sorry about that.
well, she's a she now. She's been she for a few years.
I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry about that. But oh my gosh, yeah, like wow.
But I'm definitely going to try to have him on the show, and I can tell that you're kind of intrigued with that, and you're stuck in the rabbit hole as well.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Goose. I
Oh, you're
appreciate it.
you're very welcome, brother. Well, let
Oh,
me
my
actually let's see. Let me see. Let me hook my phone up real quick to the board here and play a clip. And this is the clip that brought me in. You may not be able to hear it. Hopefully you can hear it. Let's see here. Yes, you should definitely be able to hear it. Let me get this on here, and you will definitely be able to hear this. But again, this is the clip that got me got me interested in this, and I blame my son for this. So, but and like I said, this is the clip from YouTube that got me into it. Okay.
This does not even deserve a captain's log introduction, because this
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right.
Wow.
Here it goes. It's 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
is dead
Okay.
serious. The inside and outside tour I did a few months ago of my house, everyone here, my mother and my father are angry at me. They're blaming at me. It's my fault. I admit it's my fault. I want everything about my house off the internet. I'll send in detectives. I'll send in police. I'll send in everything in my power to get it off the internet.
Me. Listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Shut that goddamn thing off. I don't care what you do. You get all that stuff off of there tonight.
I'm working on it.
Go work on it.
I am
Do
working.
you realize something? Let me tell you. If the health department of Greene County sees those videos that you put on the damn internet, they could condemn our house and we would have to move out of it.
I see.
You go get that goddamn stuff off of there and fast.
I'm working working on it. I was making a video for YouTube to tell everybody to get the images off of the internet. It's out of my control.
Oh, you get them off.
It's out of my control. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to
You
go.
loaded them up there. You unload them.
I'm working on it.
Go do it.
I am doing it. I'm sorry.
Get in here and do it. I'll be up all night with you if I have to. I won't get any sleep till that stuff's on.
I'm working on it.
Get in there and start.
It's almost
Let me
over.
do these stupid videos. I can tell everybody at my command to get everything, help me get everything off the internet about our house.
I don't want to get kicked out of my house by the health department. And what you just did was stick a knife in our back and kill us.
All right, let me just.
Get that stuff off of there.
I'm
Get it off of there fast.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So yeah, please get everything off of the internet now, 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 now! Curse the trolls. Peace to everybody else.
Elliott, what's your take on that?
My good. Listen. Okay, first of all, he's worried that the health department is going to condemn their house.
Yes.
And his only answer to that is take the videos off. How about fix your house?
Yes.
Dude? Clean it up. Oh my gosh. And I'm looking. Okay, do you know? Okay, his dad died, right?
Yes.
Do you know why he died?
His dad died. He had heart problems, but he had a lot of infectious bug bites when he was in the hospital, and he was actually came to the hospital with that, and he was quarantined, and so yeah. I mean, and there's even one video segment where these people convince Chris to play with himself. Okay, so while he's doing this live on the internet, they prank call his dad, and they tell him that he's on YouTube threatening to kill himself. So his dad walks in on him.
Oh my God!
While he's doing this, and you can hear from his dad's voice. His dad's older, and he's like, "Christian, what are you doing?" He's like, nothing, Dad. And, I mean, it's just, like I said, it is a train wreck. And that clip that I just played is the same clip that my son played for me, but I just find that hilarious.
Oh my gosh. That's wow. I mean, do we know if he is a follower of Rebecca? Do we know that?
I don't think so. I'm sure that if
can we find out for sure?
Well,
can we ask Rebecca?
If he sees a picture of Rebecca, I could about guarantee he would follow Rebecca.
That's what,
wow. Because that's the type of ladies that he pursues, and
that's
so
what
forth.
I'm looking here, and it's like. It says that he is infatuated with female internet personalities. That's why I was like, maybe, just maybe.
Oh, he would definitely be taken away with Rebecca. And there's one point where after his dad passes away, his dad was a highly intelligent guy. He had like 7 patents that he got money for even after he retired, and he had. Took care of his family insurance-wise and other stuff. So what does the mom and dad do? Or what does the mom and Chris Chan do after his father passes away shortly to go through all this money? Chris had an ongoing feud with a guy that had a local game shop store in his hometown of Charlottesville, Virginia. So Chris sees him out in public, and what does he do when his mom's in the car? He hits the guy with the car. The guy's walking, and Chris hits him. So then they get scared that, people seen this, they're going to call the police. So the mom starts driving, and guess what she does? She hits the guy as well.
Oh, my God.
So in order to get out of this, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on an attorney. And so that's where all the money went to. And, his dad wrote him this heartfelt letter talking about his love for music, and he hoped that, you know, Christian that went along to him, and, you know, his love for stamp collecting. So when his dad dies, you know, they sell the records, they sell the stamp collection, you know, and he buys toys with it. I mean, you cannot feel sorry for this guy.
Wow. Oh my God!
You know,
listen, you've blown my mind,
well,
man. This is like, I know this doesn't make for good radio with me just sitting here astonished and not being able to talk.
No.
My goodness, man! Like, this is everything crazy all rolled into one.
Oh.
And I mean, I'm not talking about Chris or, you know, Christine or I'm trying to see what she calls herself.
Christine.
I'm talking about the fact that, you know, they documented their life 24 hours, like, pretty much.
Yes.
And would just put it out there without editing or vetting or anything.
Yes.
Holy crap.
So,
this is crazy.
no, but I mean, you definitely need to check this out, because there's a character that comes up about halfway through the 2000s up to the end of 2010, and they call him Liquid Chris. And
Liquid Chris?
Yes, and Chris Chan is known as Solid Chris. So they're in this feud over the creation of Sonichu. That's his character that Chris Chan come up with.
These words make sense, Goose.
Hey, brother. I am just telling you what's happened. Now, what's fascinating about Liquid Chris is he's doing his impersonation of Chris Chan, and they're locked in a feud. Now, Liquid Chris quit, I think maybe in 2011, 2012. Liquid Chris is now a successful doctor in North Carolina.
Oh, God. Let's go back to UFOs or something. It's something that makes sense, man.
Okay. But you know, well, we're kind of running out of time, but, you know, and can we anticipate maybe a segment on Chris Chan on a future Spooky Family podcast episode?
Absolutely, because I cannot wait for Beagle to get a hold of this information. It may get us kicked off. Wow.
Well, and Chris Chan is also a huge fan of anime as well.
Oh, well, then, yes, definitely. This will be, wow.
Oh,
man.
Well,
okay, there's a video of him macing a GameStop employee.
Yes.
Wow.
That is hilarious. And at that point in his life, he's known as Christine Weston Chandler. So.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Thank you, Goose. This is the best Christmas present you could have got me. I appreciate this. I will fall down this rabbit hole, and I will not come out for a long time.
Well, I will leave something else with you. Do you realize that if the health department of Greene County sees your videos, they can condemn our house and we'll have to move?
I'm trying to get the video off.
Try harder.
I've commanded them to take it down.
You've loaded them, upload them.
I'm trying.
You've stabbed us in the back and killed us.
Wow. This is great. This is great.
You know, again, Elliott, I know you have plans here in just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you very much for hopping on. I just wanted to put something together. We will have a Believe It or Not episode coming up next. And I just want to go
ahead and tell you real quick.
Okay.
That I think Believe It or Not is one of the best. Like you and Justin, your chemistry together, and both of you being from Knott County, and just I love listening to it. I think it's great.
Well, thank you very much, man. That really means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you very much.
But I'm super excited by that. I think that. I'm a Here To Chew Bubblegum loyalist. I love it. I'll always listen to it. Everything you all do, you got a fan in me. And I just want to say real quick, and I know we haven't got to do a round table in a while with everybody, and maybe that'll change. But,
yes, definitely.
Just the fact that Here To Chew Bubblegum has led me to create the Spooky Family podcast. It led me to meet Justin and PT over at Paranormal Trucker and Dirty Dan and, all these people that I probably would never have met, any other way in my life. I just appreciate everything you all do, Goose.
Well,
thank you for having me on, buddy. Listen, this is always home to me, and I'm just glad to be here.
Well, thank you very much, Elliott. Again, that's Elliott with the Spooky Family. Thank you for filling in. We're going to jump straight into a Believe It or Not with Justin Perkins and myself, and I'll be back to end things. You are listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Don't do it, Goose. Don't end things. I promise it's fine, man.
End the show. So,
okay. Well, that maybe. All right.
We'll be back in just a moment.
All right, man.
It's now time for Believe It or Not with Justin and Goose.
Hello, I'm Justin, and some of the best things in life are not quite believable.
Jot 'em down, store. Love from Abner. I'm Goose, and welcome to Believe It or Not with Justin Perkins and myself, Goose. Thank you very much for joining us. How you doing today, Justin?
Well, I nailed the opening that time. So, I mean...
You've done a great job. You've done a great job. That would have been flawless if I didn't have to mute my microphone and cough, but...
I'm going to start just changing it every time.
Hey, you can. Elliott even commented on the one that we left in there that he got a big kick out of that.
I did. That's one of the ones I was letting my wife listen to it, and she's like... How many times did you mess that up? I was like, I don't know. I lost count because I'd been telling her about it. And I was like, I messed this up once. And then I heard him still in there. And I was like, he left it in. Listen.
Well, today we're going to talk about a movie, Fire Down Below. And hope I can read some of the stuff I've got here. I printed it in a little font. So, have you ever saw the movie Fire Down Below?
Oh, yes. And I want to dedicate this episode to my wife because Steven Seagal is her favorite actor.
Really?
No, absolutely not. She despises him. But I am a huge Steven Seagal fan.
Now, this was really fascinating, too, when all this was going on because, I actually remember all of this. When they came in and there was ladies that were prop designers and prop set decorators. They'd went to Watts Bargain Barn and bought a bunch of stuff. They spent a lot of money in Knott County. They even ate at the Holly Hills restaurant. And I remember one of the ladies that worked there said that they'd never had soup beans before, and they were really impressed with those.
I mean, that's probably one of my favorite meals, so I can understand that.
Yeah, same here. But Fire Down Below, like you said, it stars Steven Seagal. And I'll read some of this, and we'll talk about it throughout the segment. When Steven Seagal began looking for what would be his 10th motion picture project and 9th for Warner Brothers, he turned his attention to Underground. The star who debuted in Above the Law discovered a script that he called a wonderful character piece. It reminded me of Witness, Steven Seagal said, a film where the action is motivated by good drama and a good story. What Seagal and his lifelong producing partner Julius R. Nasso uncovered was a story set in the Appalachian Hills of southeastern Kentucky, written by North Carolina native Jeb Stewart, and the screenplay was written by Jeb Stewart and Philip Morton. The screenplay and story was about illegal toxic waste disposal in Kentucky mines. Now, did you know this part that I'm getting ready to read? This was based on Stewart's own experiences, where the writer spent his college years working as a carpenter in Appalachia at a time where illicit poisoning of the countryside was under investigation by the EPA. So it's loosely based on a true story.
I didn't know that. Like, I knew they had done that. I didn't necessarily know they'd done it in eastern Kentucky, but the government's still out in the desert. I think around Area 51 somewhere out there, where they're doing nuclear tests. They store a lot of nuclear waste underground.
Yes, they do. And supposedly they do it in Richmond as well at the Bluegrass Army Depot.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I have heard that. Principal photography on Fire Down Below began in the Cumberland Range of the Appalachian Mountains in southeastern Kentucky, with the coal mining town of Hazard becoming the company's old Kentucky home. For 6 weeks during production, various crew members traveled to various points of surrounding Perry, Breathitt, and Knott counties to film the story of that represented the fall foliage season. They had some big word there, so I just changed it to represented. Curiously, Just as the film commenced production, life imitated art as local Kentucky newspapers reported that an actual EPA inquiry into abandoned mine shaft just outside of Pikeville, which was 60 miles away from the company's base, comparing the real EPA agent, Fred Stroud, to Seagal's character in the film. When the actor heard about the agency allegations, he invited Stroud to visit the set and chatted with him about environmental issues and his work. I actually do remember that. And this story does go on to mention, and in the Cars Fork Lake area, there is a house that was used as a set piece. It wasn't a full house when it was constructed. I think now it is a complete full house. And let's see, it says two key sets, filmmakers chose spectacular natural settings and elevated plateaus themselves. They used a former strip mine where production designer Joe Alvis built from the ground up sets overlooking the breathtaking visits of the Kentucky Cumberland Hills. The Kellogg House, a country cathedral, Sarah's Clapboard House, was constructed on a mountainside a mile above the picturesque tributaries of the Cars Fork Lake, and Reverend Goodall's Pentecostal Church rose on a cliffside above the county's popular dirt track speedway. Another local landowner and mining engineer, James Boland, had wanted to keep the set for Sarah's house that was constructed on his property, which was a former strip mine restored to its natural beauty and was even more beautiful with a spectacular view. Boeing asked that the two-story structure not be torn down after the company departed Kentucky. They did let it stand, and Boeing had all sorts of plans to build a golf course. Let's see. He also let them move a barn on his property that was 200 years old, and people on the film said it took 2 months to take the barn apart and move it, and they had to number every board in piece, whereas to assemble it back correctly. Have you ever been in that house on that property?
Not in the house. I guess it was probably, I'd say 04, somewhere in that area. I won't say the last name, but there's a guy named Jeremy. He's related to them.
I know who you're talking about.
He's got some cattle and stuff up there now, but he used to do a trail ride.
Yes.
We'd go up there, and this is well before the Knott County Trail Ride, and me and my dad and my buddy Broody went up there one year, and, you know, you'd ride all that and ride all the way over into Letcher County and back. We did that, I believe, 2 years in a row. In 1 year, we did ride up and ride around the house, but I've never seen. I believe his uncle lives in that house now. Somebody in his family lives in that house. The house is functional at this point. And you can see it from the lake.
Yes,
like
yes,
during
you
the
can.
fall and stuff, you can see it from the lake.
I had cookie factory business years ago when I rode up there with somebody. Something was going on up there, and we had to go up and check stuff out. Everything was okay, but I didn't get to go inside. I did step on the porch, but it's like you said, it's beautiful.
Yes,
and
it's a beautiful area. Like, I'd kill for that view in that area.
Yeah, I would definitely. Does Jeremy still live over there?
I believe so. Right before you start up that hill,
yeah.
Like I said, I think he has a bunch of cattle up there. When the market got really high a couple of years ago, I don't believe he sold them, but I heard like maybe $1 million worth of cattle.
Really?
Because the market got extremely high.
Right.
But there's a lot of room up there. Some reclaimed mine area, and I mean it's a beautiful place. You can go forever up there.
And they actually filmed some of this in Breathitt County, some of the night scene where they go to the dance, and some of the stuff with Marty Stewart as a deputy on the when they get into the street fight, more or less. And Ronnie Hall, he's also in the film. He was actually, and we'll try to get him on this show sometime, he was actually Steven Seagal's body double.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, or his stand-in, whatever, body double stand-in, same thing. You know, when they were setting up the camera and the lighting and all that, he'd be the one standing there.
That's pretty cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I can remember there's one scene there, he's driving the truck, and if you're from Eastern Kentucky or from Knott County, there's a lot of areas, which I've seen this in other places as well, but down by the lake specifically, you've got the big high wall, the sheer cut off, and there's the part where he's going down there. And I can remember getting excited. I was like, that's by the lake. I know where that is. I got excited about a lot of that in that movie. You'd see something, and I'd be like, because I grew up a huge martial arts fan. I loved all of his first couple movies. And, you know, I was young. I didn't realize Steven Seagal, he's made some duds, but I like bad movies at times. And I loved pretty much everything he did up to a certain point. This movie I wasn't crazy about, and not anything negative about the movie other than it was a little less martial arts, and a little more story. And when I look at Steven Seagal, I don't think award-winning actor. I think martial arts star. And he has an interesting past in the martial arts. He's one of the few Caucasian Americans that got to go to Japan and actually train with some of these Aikido masters and stuff. And he actually earned his black belt in Japan under an Aikido master instead of in a, a lot of times a lot of the Orientals used to consider them McDojos because they were like McDonald's in the United States, and it was just kind of a money racket deal, and they didn't have a lot of respect for some, not all, but for some of the people that trained in America. And he actually got to go over there and train, and he has a very fascinating martial arts career. He was very accomplished in Aikido and what he did. So I was always really fascinated about him, and I thought it was really cool that he came to Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, and he had a great time in Eastern Kentucky. I remember when this movie came out, and I watched it at Fugate's. And most of the time when the movie's over, you get up when the credits are there, and you let everybody sit there till the credits were over. Not one person got up, and there was actually some people in front of me going, I know them, I know them, I know them, and just everybody sat there. And, we do have a beautiful area, and this is not the only Hollywood film that's been here. We had Next of Kin. Did you know that?
Yes. And I looked up on a page, and me and you shared a page there, and I didn't see it listed, but I've heard that my whole life. That it's filmed, and that's...
Yeah, it was filmed in Jackson. I'm sorry, in Carbon Glow in Perry County.
It's one of those movies that you're going to have people that love and hate whatever movie, but that had a great cast. It was well acted. Like, there's things that weren't particularly true to our area in that movie, but it's still, Fire Down Below the same way, Hollywood goes one of two ways with Appalachian people. They either kind of romanticize them into this simpler, kinder people, or they demonize them into this really bad. They never kind of hit it right in the middle. So I'm always interested in which route they're going to go. I heard a lot of horror stories. I mean, he was awful to deal with, and this and this and this, and he said this and he did that, but I never heard him say one bad thing about this area. So that leads me to believe that probably people didn't meet him, said that. Yeah. And, to me, they did. I don't know. I like the representation of mountain people in that movie for the most. It's been years since I've seen it, but I don't remember anything standing out where I went, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, no, and that's the same as me. And I actually remember, I think it was TNN at the time was a channel. It used to be the Nashville Network, then they rechanged it to the National Network. Now it's Spike TV, I think. But they did an interview with him when it was TNN, and they were trying to get him to say something bad about this area with the questions. And I can't remember what they said, but I remember his response. He said that it's a great area. There's a lot of hardworking people there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the guy's name. There was I don't think he's working anymore. I think he's retired, but there was a state trooper that actually saw him in Knott County and pulled him over for speeding and got his camera out of his trunk that he used to take pictures of auto accidents. And he said, hey, if you get out, told the driver, if he gets out and takes a pic, you take my picture with him, I'll let you all go. So Steven Seagal actually got out and took his picture with
I'd make that trade
with that trooper. So but the trooper wasn't from Knott County, he was from a county close by. So but yeah, I've always heard great things, and there was great things left. Like you said, that house is still standing. When I was up there were still some of the barrels from the movie props and stuff that were still there. The cave that they actually the one thing I did that I guess kind of hurt me about the movie a little bit is when they go into the mine at the beginning. I mean, and in the movie, you can stand up and walk. It's humongous. I mean, we could have built a stadium inside there. That did kind of hurt me just a little bit.
Well, I'd never realized what low coal meant. You know, I always thought you had to at least be able to stand up in it to mine it, especially at a young age. And then the older I got and the more you saw depictions of it and talked to people, my Uncle Glenn, he liked low coal. He liked to be able to lay down. It was easier on his back. He's like, lay down. I was like, how could you lay down in mine? He's like, well, this coal, you know, starting out, I guess when they first go through, you got to be on your stomach to get under it and get through there, you know. So, yeah, you're looking more like a cave, like Mammoth Cave, when they go into that than you are looking at an actual coal mine.
Oh, yeah. But did you think there'll ever be a sequel to that movie?
No, I think his career is pretty well done. His music career should be done. As much as I like to brag on his martial arts skills, his music skills leave a little to be desired. And then did you see his reality show where he was the cop down in New Orleans?
Yeah.
That was pretty rough.
I saw just a few episodes of that.
It was pretty rough. I've wavered back and forth on saying this story. You can see me keep checking my phone. I kept waiting for my friend to reply and see if she remembers this the way I do. When I was in high school, I met my friend, and he's passed away, so I can't ask him, but I met his stepdad's dad for the first time.
Okay.
I'd never met him before, and I was told a story by my friend's stepdad, who told a lot of good stories, and they changed often, and they weren't always 100% reliable. And I really don't. He's not a liar. He doesn't do it on purpose. He just he's had a long, interesting life, and it's hard for him to remember everything. But there's a guy named Emmett Lawson in Floyd County.
Okay,
lives on Mud Creek. Emmett has a really nice house. I've been in it once or twice. It's a huge house. It is a nice house. I think Patino looked at buying it at one point when he was coaching for UK.
Really?
I had heard that, I think, on the radio or something back then. I've never verified that with the family. But I was always told that that's where Seagal stayed during a certain portion of that filming, is that they rented that house. And they landed a helicopter out in the yard and brought him in and out a couple times. And I've heard that never directly from Emmett, but from that family and from my buddy's stepdad. I won't say how he's connected to that, but he basically said he's seen it. He's seen them, you know, and that's the way I remember the story. But like I said, it was one of them stories just kind of in passing. You know, that was right at the stage of my life where I was still obsessed with doing martial arts, but my obsession for martial arts movies had waned, and my obsession for music had taken over. And so for some reason I can't remember it exactly, but that's what I was told.
Well,
forever.
I had never heard that one. I had heard this. I had heard that he stayed at the Holiday Inn. It was the Holiday Inn in Hazard then. That was the same place where, you know, Patrick Swayze stayed when he filmed Next of Kin. I heard he stayed there a couple of weeks, and he was going to helicopter back and forth between Perry County and Lexington. But, and I don't know if this part's true. I know that the guy, the actor that played John Boy Walton, is it Richard Thomas? Is that his name?
I don't think it's Thomas, but it does start with a T. Maybe it is. I can't remember. I know who you're talking about.
I think he owned at the time, he may not own it anymore, a house in Paintsville. I know he did own it in the early 2000s, and I think he did own it when they filmed this movie in the 90s. And I think Steven Seagal actually stayed there because there was a guy that would help drive him, and he told me that he saw a chopper land. Richard Thomas, I think that's the guy's name, and he would land in Paintsville, and they would drive him in every day from Paintsville.
Well, now I was told that he had stayed somewhere else until they were filming a certain portion of the movie, and then come. But if you look at a map, if you're not from Eastern Kentucky, to stay in Floyd County and Mud Creek, I don't know what part they could have been filming in that was a better drive than Paintsville, because you end up going the same direction.
So, but real quick, this has nothing to do with fire down below. This does have to do with the mine height and coal mining, and this is a true story. This happened in 1995. I cannot remember the guy's name, or I would tell you. I did security work at a coal mine. And this mine was in Knott County at Arnold Fork. And it had two guard shacks. You had one at the bottom and one at the top. And the one at the top, you could actually take a gravel road and come down over in Pike County on. I was at, and on weekends, there was nothing went on there. It was shut down. So, I mean, the one at the bottom, that's where I always stayed. I mean, I would eat lunch, and back at that time, I would read books or listen to the radio. And there was this kid that they hired that was like 18 years old. Now, keep in mind, I was just a couple of years older. And this kid that they hired, because you would go in on a Saturday morning and you would get off Monday morning, and you were supposed to check in every hour. Well, on Saturday at around probably 3, he had walked downhill, and this gravel road is probably like 2.5 miles to my guard shack because he didn't drive. His parents would bring him and drop him off. And he come down, he's like, hey, I forgot to bring drinks. You got any drinks with you? So I had, like Pepsis or Cokes or something, so I give him one of them. And he walks back up. Or no, I actually drive him back up to there. So then he calls down a few hours later, and it's still daylight because it's the summertime. He's like, hey, I found the keys to all this equipment up here. I'm going to play on these dozers and stuff. Oh, no. I said, no. I said, you don't need to be doing that. He said, well, I'm the guard up here, and I'm going to do what I want to. I said, well, buddy, lay it on it. So he plays on some dozers and backhoes and rock trucks. And then he calls me, and he's like, have you ever been on a mine buggy? I said, no. So he actually rode the mine buggy down, the one that you lay on. He drove it down, and he's like, I'm going to get a job in the mines. I'm going to go up here in the next 2 days. I'm going to play on this and see if I can get a job in the mines, tell him I know how to drive this. So I was at just a little bitty shack, big enough for a desk, and stuff. And he's in a good-sized trailer, where they change, where the foreman's office is at. And on Sunday morning, at about 9 o'clock, the office called me and asked me to go check on him, that they hadn't heard from him since like 12 o'clock midnight. So I go up to find the kid, and the mine buggy is stuck up under the trailer where the office was at. I mean, it was stuck. It had went through the floor on the inside. So you open up the door, and here's part of this mine buggy sticking out from under the floor. The kid was gone. He had got scared, and he had walked, because he was at the top of the hill. He had walked down to Pike County, come to find out, and called his parents to come and pick him up.
Wow.
And he never...
I don't know if I'd show my face again either.
But I just got tickled where he's like, I found a key to this mine buggy. I'm going to drive this and play around on this.
I mean, I made a lot of bad impulsive decisions as a kid, but I started out now watching on mines, right down here in Prestonsburg and up here where they're building. Actually, it was a road project where they built the new section of 119 across. I worked in Coons Creek down in there when they were pouring those piers, but they were mining. Right. They were taking coal from that gap that they had found. But I worked there, and then I worked down here. What was that called? Up in Allen there at the red light. I worked up in there at a mine, and there was a lot of interesting stuff to mess with, but I was smart enough not to really dig in.
And I did the same thing. I never fooled with any of the equipment, but I always wondered what happened to that kid. Especially. I mean, because when
I bet he didn't become a miner.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, because when he actually drove the mine buggy down to my. Because I mean, like I just hear this god awful vehicle and really couldn't see anything, And then he finally comes around a curve to where I was at, and there it was, and he's like, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm getting pretty good on this. Oh, well, I want to thank everyone for listening to Believe It or Not with Justin Perkins and myself, Goose. You can shoot us an email at believeItorNot, spelled Knott. That's believeItorNot at heretochewbubblegum.com.
I get asked every once in a while, where can people hear this? And I had a buddy of mine said he'd heard me mention it 2 or 3 times. This is a lot of places usually. I'll tell where I stick it at, and you tell where you stick it at. If you are subscribed on iTunes or Spotify, wherever, to Talk Junkie, I put these on as separate episodes to where you can just hear this part of it. But I do that after they're released with you. Wherever you stick them at that week, I stick them on there, and then that way, because like if you heard part of it or you missed it or something, there's multiple places you can find this, and each place is kind of a different experience. Like if you go to Talk Junkie, you get just this, but if you listen to your guys' shows in different places you put it, you get your entire show with this mixed in with
Yes, correct. And you don't have to wait for me to drop it first. You can drop it first whenever you want to, because like I said, this was your idea. But you can hear it on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. You can hear it on Pandora. You can hear it on YouTube. Because we also upload the podcast show onto YouTube. You can hear it on there. You can hear it on the radio. It's been in a few radio shows. Within the next 30 days, definitely January, we're going to retweak the format of the radio show just a little bit. And we're probably going to shorten the email segment, so you can definitely hear it, on the radio, every radio show, starting for sure in January. From now until the end of the year, you can hear it on most of the radio shows that we do.
So if you're going to pick one spot right now and you want to help the show out, the biggest thing to me would be look for Here To Chew Bubblegum on Pandora and give some responses and some attention there. And then, because that's a big platform.
Yes.
I am so honored that you put this show on with yours and we're on there. I mean, that's a big platform to be on.
And thank you very much for that plug. And brother, I wouldn't want to do this with anybody else. And plus, this was your idea. It was a great idea at that. And we talked about a little bit ago. We're going to have once a month, we'll probably do a long Here to Believe It or Not.
Yeah, just an excuse for me and Goose to get to hang out and talk.
There you go.
I don't have many people I get to hang out and talk with, and I always enjoy talking to you. So it'll be a little different format, but I think it'll be fun.
And, if you want Justin to put it up first, reach out, let him know, Justin, you can put it up first. It makes no difference, brother.
Well, I really think the best way is they find it on Pandora, because that helps the show collectively.
Right.
And so, but if you're just in a pinch one day and you want a quick listen, usually Goose can keep me under control and I don't make these long. You can check it out just on Talk Junkie by itself.
We definitely appreciate that. Again, thanks everyone. And don't forget, shoot us an email, believe it or not, spelled KNOTT at HereToChewBubblegum.com. And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum. I am Goose. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening this week. I'm sorry this was a different kind of show. This was a last minute thing. Again, Dirty Dan hopefully will be back next week. Him and Rebecca. I will definitely be here, and we'll be talking about some of your favorite topics. UFOs, aliens, time travel, other dimensions, Bigfoot. We will be here talking about that. Before we go, I want to thank Elliott Spooky again from SpookyFamilyPodcast.com for filling in and chatting with me there. Be sure to check out Cooking with Dirty Dan. It's available on TikTok. You can find Dirty Dan. I cannot think of his TikTok name right now, but just search Dirty Dan and look for Cooking with Dirty Dan. Also, don't forget about the nice folks at Carbon Capture Shield, adventureswithpurpose.com, and the Teal Valhalla Project. Special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work, and don't forget about the new Midlife Crisis album that is out now. Also, be sure to check out and support friends of our show that have their own shows. I'm talking about CK and Uncle Bill over at deadpit.com, Justin Perkins with Talk Junkie, Jordan and Brad of Down on the Holler, Seth Embergy with Seth's Daily Podcast, Elliott, Gertie, and Beagle of the SpookyFamilyPodcast.com, the Mountain Mysteries Podcast with Chris Sloan, and if you are a fan of Cronkite, he now goes by PT, and you can find him, Snowman, and Large Marge over at Paranormal Trucker on YouTube. If you want to awaken more, be sure to check out Rebecca Short on TikTok and on Twitch at Queen of the Flock 138. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.